Welcome to Let Jamie Talk. I'm Jamie. I got Ben and Brett, as always, here in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. And our great special guest, Jason.
Morning.
What is going on, man?
I don't know what to do. Well, do I look at somebody in particular? Or?
No, just talk into this black thing right here, and that's all there is
Can't
to
do
it.
Morning.
If you just look up at the ceiling.
I should have brought some earplugs. It could get loud in here, by the way.
It's going to get loud.
Jason's here. So, but anyway, hey, I got this cool little bell. If we need to... any point in time, we just need to ring a bell just to say, okay.
All right.
Actually,
can you mute his mic by chance?
Sorry, bro. I'm running the soundboard.
His name's on the wall. Sorry.
They asked me what this is. You know what it is now, so I can't pretend that you don't. But Brett got me a lawnmower blade balancer thing. There it is.
Yeah.
So he asked about last week with the lawnmower episode, and I gave him the short of it. And,
that's by the time this episode airs, that's going to be a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh well, sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about a lawnmower blade balancer. Just so you know.
You'd be surprised.
Hey, yeah.
I mean, I'm really interested in watching him use it on my lawnmower.
Nice.
Well, we're going to do something soon. So, dude, I actually have not seen you for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
Which is a little weird. Because normally we're hanging out most of the time during the week. So you've been, where you go, the beach
Outer
for a
Banks.
vacation? Mm-hmm. Where'd you go?
Outer Banks.
Outer
Corolla.
Banks.
Saw the wild horses.
Corolla? Corolla. It's
Sure.
not a Toyota.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know either.
We did drive there, so I don't know.
All right. Well, that's a great place. That's a great place to go to the beach. I
Yeah.
actually was, my family used to go there when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah. Like when I was.
Did you drive there?
Did I drive there?
Yeah.
I was a kid, so no. But anyway, my grandparents would rent a house there at the Outer Banks, and we'd all go stay. We haven't done that probably 20 years. And my grandparents, of course, now have passed away, and they're, we haven't done a trip like that in a long, long time. And now me and the cousins, my brother, my cousins from Virginia, we're going to try to book a house next year so we can bring back the good old family times.
I'm going to tell you one thing, that it's probably more expensive than when your grandparents rented it.
You know what?
Because it's expensive.
Well, that's the problem is now we got to pay for it.
Yeah. Yes, it is a problem. Unless you take your dad. You could go.
Genius.
Ooh, never mind.
That's a good idea, but, well, anyway. You'll be surfing the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, so you had fun in the sun?
We did, yeah. I got
tanned
some
up?
color.
You got tan under your shirt? Or you still gotta no, you can take the shirt off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Cool, man. And you've been working with Eric a little bit this week? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we built a shed in his backyard next to his addition because he's got, people that know Eric, he's got a lot of bikes and a lot of toys and a lot of everything. So his whole garage was packed with stuff. So he wanted to get rid of that. So we built a shed. It's like 7 by 12 out by his addition there. And he put all of his bikes in there, the wakeboards, all of his life jackets, all the stuff from the lake. We built some shelves in there. Now his whole garage is empty.
That's hard to believe.
I'm telling you, it's
I haven't
empty.
seen it yet, but I'm having a hard time believing it because I know what it looks like.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now he's got a little bit more room on the one side where he might be able to fit another portion there, maybe. I don't know. So I know Brett wants him to talk to him about buying one. Maybe buying one of his, maybe. So
that'd be a thing if Eric got two before
I know
got
Jamie.
one.
I can look it up. You can't even see if you can see his face right now. He's like,
So I started talking about Porsches a couple years ago. Then everybody and their brother buys one except for me.
I already had one.
So it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I don't even care.
But no, it was fun. It was hot, really hot. But it was nice, being outside and,
That's
and
great.
working. Yeah.
Hot. It's been hot here. It's been hot enough to make me get ticked off every day. I just get ticked off, dude. You know what I'm saying?
You've been working inside.
Well, yeah, whatever. But, so as if it's not hot enough here, I'm supposed to go on vacation next week with my family, which I didn't even do a summer vacation last year. It was terrible. But it was hot, too. But now we're going to Florida in the hottest part of the year,
man.
I think.
Yeah.
And,
But you're going PCB, right?
we're going. I don't know what that is.
Panama City Beach.
Panama, yeah. Going to Panama.
Yeah. No, it's not hot there. No, it's cool there. It's in the panhandle. You're good.
All right, you're making that up.
It's making me feel good.
It doesn't matter anyway. You're going to be under a bridge
I'm going to be...
in the shade.
I'm going to hunt some shade.
Yeah.
That is what I'm going to do. So,
I'm sure your apartment has AC. You'll be fine.
well, yeah, we got one with AC, I think. Pretty sure. And a pool, I guess. The kids will be in the pool. I'll be in the shade.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, the pool won't be cool, though.
Do all your kids know how to swim?
Yeah, they're actually great swimmers.
Perfect.
Yeah, the
Sweet.
boys and Zoe now she's 5, but dude, she can swim like a fish. She's just, Well, they go to the pool all summer here. You know, like not every day during the week, but my wife takes them to the pool a lot. And now they got this new slide thing. You seen that?
I did see that open.
The rec park. Yeah, I don't think they got to try it yet. It opened like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It took like 4 years.
I was gonna say 2 years, but that was
I think 2 is better.
4? Did it take 4 years?
I mean, that thing was sitting 2.
2.
All right.
Well,
I felt like it was sitting in the grass.
For all the kids,
for like
it seems
2 years.
like an eternity. But
Yeah.
I actually watched it kind of get built over.
Do I even need to be here?
Over the years? Yeah.
I mean, I can leave.
sorry,
I can leave if you want. I mean,
Sorry, I got
you guys seem to be
sidetracked.
doing fine without me, so I mean, I can just get out of here if you want. I
definitely
got
not.
soffit to put up.
We just kind of got in the zone. All right, so. All right, we do only have Jason for a limited time, if you can tell. He's itching to get out of here. We haven't even started yet.
Well, he wants to do stuff for his channel.
I know, right? So he's building a project for his channel, Building Jay's Way. Well, tell us what you're building.
So we are building we'll call it a 4 seasons room.
What does
So
that even mean?
it means you can use it the whole season, whole year, like all 4 seasons: summer, fall, spring,
There's some other ones in there.
winter. That's the last one. Winter. Yeah. So our house doesn't really have a nice place to hang out. Like to watch TV or watch football, watch movies. There's not like a nice family room. Like downstairs, there's one, but it's cold down there and it's dark and we don't like it. So Stephanie has been talking forever about having like a tree house, somewhere we can hang out. So right off our deck, I extended it out like 24 by 24, and we're building an 18 by 16 shed roof style just hangout area. It's going to have a fireplace, the TV, couch, and a big glass garage door that opens up to the deck outside with some chairs out there. Just a place to hang out, family area.
I just heard that you had a great time hanging that garage door.
Oh my gosh, dude. We haven't hung the garage door yet. And don't even get me started on the garage door.
I didn't mean to get you.
The instructions are not the best. But yeah, so Ray's been helping me on Fridays. It's been awesome because, I mean, it's impossible to do it by yourself. So he comes out on Fridays. That's why I got to hurry up here because he's already at my house maybe. And yeah, so it's just a cool project.
Maybe you'll have the garage door hung by the time you get home.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
we'll take a little extra
I
time.
can share in your paying for the garage door thing. I've hung a few garage doors a long time ago. I'm not in the habit of doing it because it is a pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some tricky stuff to make it all work right, and especially if you got no good instructions.
Yeah. And the thing is, the biggest thing is that I have to cut the floor out because the garage door can't just go down to the main floor of the house. It has to go down almost like a drip edge, rain edge type thing. So I got to cut the floor out and have the door go down to what's going to be the deck.
Oh.
So I have to get the garage door in. I got to figure out where that's going to be. I got to cut that out, and then I have to put flashing, which is where you come in. Some flashing in there and trim it all out, and then put the garage door in.
Garage doors are tricky.
Yeah.
And so it's inside. The door is inside the wall.
Inside the structure, yeah.
But the little threshold area is going to sort of be outside now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's going to be deck up to the garage door, which is actually going to be a little bit inside the structure.
I think you got it.
Sounds like you built it in your head already.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Oh, it's here. It's just doing it.
Well, you've really scaled up your projects.
I have.
I mean, over the last, how long have you been doing Build Jay's Way?
August of 2022 is when I started on my own.
Yeah, you started out, well, you've done some pretty big projects. I mean,
I did the garage edition.
The shed roof on the garage thing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that looked pretty strong, the way you built that with the little 6x6s. Huh? Mm-hmm. That was a joke. You got more. And then you did this giant carport thing, right, for your RV?
Yeah, Ray and I did that one actually when we were still doing building.
Okay, but that was pretty sizable.
It was.
And
your
you
dad
pranked me.
Was that?
You pranked me, and you called me and told me that it fell over, and I believed you.
Your dad was, because your dad somehow watched that one, or watched us build it, and he was really nervous about the side, strength of it, that it was going to fall down. Yeah. And I did add that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was April Fool's, and I called Jaime. I was like, oh my gosh, my camper, the pole barn fell on my camper, and I had him going so bad. He was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I swear, I don't know what to do. We had to get a machine out here and get this thing off my camper.
It was believable, man. It was a big, tall roof. It
was, yeah.
And then, I don't know, did you do any other small ones in between, or then you went on to the
yeah, actually, you can go back if anybody wants to see. I just put a video out last week about a follow-up video. I go back, once a year, I go back and do a follow-up on all the projects I've done over the last year. Because, when you do a project and you see what it looks like when it's done, you do your glamour shot, it looks great. Yeah. But actually using it and living in it for a year, did it hold up? How's it work? Did there things I should have done differently and things like that? I read the comments, and of course, people have their opinions on what you should and what you shouldn't do. I go back and just look at all the projects and talk about them and show people what it's like a year after that. So
nice.
I've done a lot.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. We don't do that with houses when we build houses.
It's a little bit hard.
We finish the house and we'll leave.
Can we come in for a second?
See how
I thought you were knocking on wood like it didn't fall over.
No. I'm saying you have to go back when they're living in a year.
No,
see how
I don't. I try to leave people alone once they move in.
Yeah. It's probably a good idea.
Just let them be.
Yeah.
Let them live.
They've had enough of you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And especially the one we're doing now is just taking a long time. So.
And I will say, not to make your head bigger than it probably already is, but a lot of the projects I do are because of you. It's like, you got to step out of your comfort zone. No, I'm serious.
That.
And the biggest thing is that I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. But you know what? You can. You can figure it out. And there's always a way to fix it or make it work. And and you're always a phone call away, which is always nice because I call you a lot. But it's nice to have a mentor and a buddy that can help you out. So.
Well, that's good. I'm proud of you. I hate that I've tricked you into thinking that it's all going to be okay every time. But,
No, that's one of the best things about the channel, though. I mean, I watch it. I watch every episode, and I appreciate the fact that you're just kind of don't necessarily know what you're doing, but you can see you working through the process. It comes through real.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you see that the Essential Craftsman reviewed one of your videos?
I only saw
on Perkins
the
Builder
thumbnail
Brothers?
of it. Maybe I saw the thumbnail of the video. I haven't watched it yet, though.
I thought it was spam. Like I thought it was somebody like ripping it off, and I was because I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
There was the one up on Glory Mountain.
The time lapse one. Like
he goes through everything. Yeah, Eric and I started watching it. It was already like 10 minutes in, and it was just the foundation.
Whoa!
And I was like, "Wow, this might be kind of long."
It's gonna take a while to live that in real life.
It wasn't that long. Maybe he'll do a Building Jay's Way one.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Oh yeah.
I get enough slack from everybody watching the videos. I don't need him to be critiquing me.
A whole video of somebody just picking on you.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, after a while, you're like, "Wow." Some guy was like, "I wouldn't let you build my doghouse." I was like, "Wow."
You know what they say about the comments?
Yeah.
Every comment's a good comment.
Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
it's engagement.
This social media, it is what it is. So yeah, you don't get your feelings hurt too bad.
I don't. I did in the beginning. It was tough in the beginning, but now I'm just like, whatever.
Well, maybe not everybody understands that. We're real people, and when you write nasty comments about us, it's possible we could take it personal, but I think we've toughened up against it a little bit just because we have to.
And there's also 1,000 ways to do different things. Because you do it differently than somebody else might. They think it's wrong, but it still gets the job done. I think
that's right. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So that with Building Jay's Way, give us a little bit of history on that. I mean, we talked to Ray a little bit when he was here, so give us a little history and like where you're at today and sort of what the main concept is. Well,
yeah. So when Ray decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, at that point, we'd put a lot into it and it was going pretty strong, and I was like, okay, I could just not do it and quit, or I could keep going and do it on my own. So I talked to the boys and I talked to my family and just kind of thought about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. So my very first video, I actually had Chase Perkins, Eric's son. It was my shed. I had him edit it, and because he was helping Eric, and it came back, and I was like, well, I didn't like that. I didn't like this, and so of course I wanted to change a bunch of stuff to it, even though I didn't edit it. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna figure it out. So I learned how to edit, and I started editing on my own. So I do like 3 to 4 videos a month, just because it's a lot. Like Ray said, it's a lot. I work 8 hours a day, and then I come home and usually eat dinner with the family, and then it's editing or doing an ad or working on something. So it's probably at least 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. I tried to do Sundays. I try not to do anything and make that family time, but it's 6 days a week of doing something with the channel.
Steph's on there a lot too, though, which is nice.
And that's one of the reasons why I keep doing it, is because of the family. If it was just me and it was like I was just shut off from everybody else in my family, they'd be like, oh, this isn't going to work. But I get my mother-in-law involved. I get Bob involved. I get Stephanie in there. She helps with ads and stuff like that. So it's kind of a family ordeal, which makes it a lot easier, because at least I'm still around and I'm not just not anywhere.
Sorry,
they can't find me.
Stephanie's your wife, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, Stephanie is my wife.
Sorry,
and and I've probably heard like 500 comments said I'm definitely married up and she's out of my league.
No, we've all been talking
You knew
about
that.
I did know that, yeah. And actually, Stephanie's ex-boyfriend is a professional baseball player. He was a professional baseball player.
So she definitely married down.
So now that'll even add some fuel to the fire when people are like, what in the world is she doing with you?
I know she probably didn't listen to let Jaime talk, so we don't have to worry about her being reminded about that guy.
She does not.
Yeah.
At least you're funny.
Thanks for clearing that up. Well, you did. I saw. I mean, you went on vacation to Italy,
I did.
and you recorded. I mean, you recorded while you guys went on that. How was that?
It was awesome. I did a full video on it, and I was like, you know what? There's got to be some awesome parts to it. And I'm like, I might as well, show everybody, what real life with Jay is. So yeah, every day I just got the camera out, and my kids are warming up a little bit to the channel. They're not big fans of the channel. They're not big fans of being on camera, which
Right.
I don't know. As a 16 or 17-year-old, if I could be on YouTube, you would think they'd be all over it, but for some reason, they're not real interested in it.
They're just embarrassed because you're
Yeah.
their dad.
It's probably
Dad's so
100%.
embarrassing.
I get that.
But yeah, so they warmed up a little bit, and I filmed the whole trip, and it was phenomenal. It was a great trip. I'd never been overseas before like that. I mean, I've been to like Mexico and the Caribbean and like Bahamas like that, but actually over the pond, I guess they call it.
Sure.
Never been over there because I don't like to fly that far. But yeah, it was an awesome trip. Steph hooked it all up. She had all the excursions planned, and it was a phenomenal trip. I would probably never have to go back, but it was good to do it that one time.
And why there?
I don't. Well, oh gosh, now we're going down a whole rabbit hole here. So if you want to know that, the first time Stephanie and I used to work together, and we'll get to that, I guess, later. But the first time we actually took a trip together, I went home to Chicago to see my parents, and they were living in downtown Chicago. And my parents lived on a boat for like 20 years in downtown Chicago, year round.
All 4 seasons?
All 4 seasons, yeah. I think they even did the winter one, too. Yeah, that was crazy. And so when we first went up there, they had a live gondolier who had a gondola that he shipped over from Italy, and he was on the Chicago River giving gondola rides. So my mom was like, you guys need to do it. So Steph and I got in, and we took a gondola ride in downtown Chicago. It was awesome. He sang in Italian, and he actually had a CD, and he gave us a CD of his. So fast forward to now we're in Florida. We get engaged. We're trying to get married. She's from Florida. I'm from Illinois. We're trying to figure out where to get married. Do we get married in Chicago? Do we get married in Florida? Blah, blah, blah. So we were going to Vegas for a buddy's 40th birthday. And my father-in-law actually was the one that said, why don't you guys just get married in Vegas while you're out there? Because it was like we had a nice core group of friends. And so Steph and I were like, wow, we could get married in Vegas. So we got married in Vegas at the Venetian on one of the gondolas.
No, get married on the gondola.
We got married on the gondola. But I missed a spot. When I asked Stephanie to marry me, I was figuring out how to do it. So what I did is my parents living on the boat in Chicago, they have a dinghy. If anybody knows what a dinghy is, the little boat takes you back and forth to your boat. So I called my father-in-law. I sent him the CD. I said, hey, you need to hook the dinghy up with a radio, with the CD, and some flowers. And I went up there and I got on the gondola. I asked Stephanie if she wanted to go for a ride. So we got on the dinghy. We went in the harbor and we were cruising around, and I stopped it. I played the music. I got on one knee and I kind of sang the song a little bit in Italian from what I learned. And I asked her to marry me on the gondola in downtown Chicago.
I didn't know you're so romantic.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Holy,
and then we got married at the Venetian on a gondola. And then so now this was our 20th wedding anniversary, was part of our trip. So we went to Venice and took a gondola ride. Kind of made it all full
Tying
circle.
it all together.
Wow.
Man, she did not marry down.
No, that is, I mean, you jumped right into the whole family life thing there. So we're gonna stick with that for now. But so let's go like the wedding in Vegas. I know because you were talking about that while we were in Vegas for the Builder show. And I'd never been in the Venetian before, so Jaime and I walked through there, and I mean that place is crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It was we had 20 people. It was just our core group of friends that were already going for my buddy's birthday party. And then like my family and my brothers and sisters flew out, and then her immediate family and her brothers flew out. And our wedding was really awesome because we actually got married in Vegas. We were there for like 4 days. We had a suite at the Venetian. So we had a little reception there with all of our friends and stuff. And then we went to Park City, Utah. We went skiing for 4 days. And we flew from Park City, Utah, and we flew to Illinois, and I actually did a reception in Illinois. My uncle at the time owned like an upscale pool hall. So he shut that down, and we, decorated it, and we had a reception in Illinois with all of my family from Illinois. Then we flew to Miami. We took a 5-day cruise out of Miami, came back, and then we did a reception in Florida with all of her family.
Holy moly.
So we were actually gone for 16 days.
I'm getting confused now with all the traveling. So,
Dude, I'm telling you, it was awesome, though.
so you actually got married on the boat, the two
We
of
got
you? And you
we
had,
got
like-
married on the boat with a pastor out there, reverend or whatever they are out
and
there.
and your friends and family were just like
Walking
on the side
along
of the river?
walking along the
Or on the
river
bridge
as
or
it comes down.
And it was moving?
It was moving.
The guy was paddling you down?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't paddling. Somebody else was paddling. But yeah, it was just her and I in there with the pastor, and he married us on the gondola. And you just kind of walking. All the people, the shops, everything are wide open. Everything
No
going.
way.
Stephanie was really big on. She doesn't like attention, so she didn't want to walk down an aisle. She didn't
Right.
want a big church wedding. So this actually worked out pretty well.
Well, good. And at least there's no chance of that baseball guy showing up and busting your wedding up if you're on a boat somewhere.
Doing a suplex off the bridge.
Oh, man. That is so cool, married on a boat.
Yeah,
Never heard of that.
I mean that's a crazy. That sounds like a good way to do it, though. I mean that's a lot of travel, but I've always thought that like small wedding, big reception, on different days, not all on one day. But
Yeah, I mean, it was just we had 2 honeymoons, 2 receptions, 2 honeymoons, and the wedding, and it was about the same cost as if we would have, done it in a church and had a big hall and had all these people there, and then you're trying to, your
even talk
whole
to them.
night's walking around trying to talk to people and do stuff. So it was awesome. We loved it.
Do you go back to Vegas for anniversaries? Have you been back? Or
Not anniversaries. We went back for Stephanie's 40th birthday, but
That's
I
what
mean,
it was.
it's a place we're just, and the reason we did that
Last
is,
year?
yeah, last year. The reason we did that is actually when we got married, she found this cool thing that instead of giving gifts, because we were older when we got married and we were living together already, so we had a house and we had everything that we needed. We didn't need like dishes. So she found this thing where you can actually, people can send like, you put on your registry you wanted to do a helicopter ride in Vegas, or you wanted champagne and strawberries in your room when you got there, and you put a cost to it. And then people go on this registry and they just send money and they like buy you these certain things.
experience?
So yeah.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to do a helicopter ride in the Grand Canyon. And so we got married in February in Vegas. And I've never seen fog or rain in Vegas. But the morning we were supposed to do our ride, I got a phone call. I woke up, I opened up the blinds, and it was so foggy you couldn't even see out the window. So it got canceled. So we never got to do that ride. So that's why we did her 40th birthday. We went back out there and did the ride in the Grand Canyon. So,
Wow. Man, you just don't let stuff slide, do you?
well, somebody bought it for us. We had to use it. So, yeah. How we doing on time, Ben?
We're good on time.
Okay.
Don't worry. I get a lot of bad press sometimes because I look at my phone a lot. But sometimes it's Brett texting me something, or or I look at my watch.
Tell Jason not to talk so much.
I'm not keeping up. I'm not keeping up with the time so much as I'm reading, info here. But I mean that pretty much with the wedding stuff. Let's tie it back into like where you were born, your parents,
Okay.
Chicago. Like
Yep.
you get, the start of Jay's life.
Wow. Going way back.
Give him a minute.
Wow.
We'll
Born
get-
in Illinois.
Okay.
Had a fantastic childhood. Lived on the lake up in northern Illinois and had all the toys, boats, snowmobiles, whatever. So awesome life. Then high school, graduated high school, and my mom worked downtown Chicago. And so she used to commute every day back and forth like an hour in traffic. And obviously that was not fun. So pretty much the day I graduated high school, they moved downtown Chicago. And looking back, I probably would have gone with them at, knowing what I know now. But at the time, I was 17. I'm like, I'm going to live in downtown Chicago. I'm going to get shot, type of thing. And that's your mindset because you don't know anything.
You an only child?
No, I have an older brother and an older sister. So my brother is 7 years older than me. My sister's 10 years older than me. So I was the oops baby.
Hey, that happens.
Yeah, that's what that's what my brother says. That's weird.
That
I'm
you were
the oopsie.
the oops baby.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So the day I graduated high school, my parents moved downtown, so I didn't know what to do. So me and my brother got a little apartment, and I started working, and it sucked. I worked construction. I was doing concrete work for a guy that I knew from my high school job. So I was getting up every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, going laying concrete, going to the gym after there, coming home, eating dinner, and going to bed. And that was not fun as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. So I did that for a couple of years. And then a buddy of mine, Jason, had moved to Florida to go to school. So I would talk to him every once in a while and be like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, man, I went to the beach today and went out and, went to the bar and there's girls in bikinis. And I looked at my brother. I'm like, what are we doing? Are we idiots? Why are we doing this in Illinois? So my brother worked for Walgreens at the time. And so he put a transfer in with Walgreens. I told my boss I was going to move to Florida. And he said, yeah, man, go. If you don't like it, you can just come back and get your job back. And I was like, okay. So we went down there, found a place to live with my buddy Jay. And moved to Florida in 1994.
1994.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks after my 21st birthday. Okay. I did not go to college, so you can imagine that was pretty much my college. So, I went down there and got into the restaurant business and was just bartending and kind of just being stupid.
Right on.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that at that.
Leave it up to imagination. Fill in the blank. But hey, so something cool that you're into sports and stuff. I know, and I know that because y'all talk about sports, and I'm always left out of the conversation. But I do know that you help me because I don't know anything about sports. You've helped me out. My son's playing baseball. You guys are big into baseball. Did you play baseball like in school? Or
I played little league baseball, and I'll tell you
little league. Because when I think of little league, I think of kids that are like 3 feet tall with like oversized baseball caps.
Yeah, I mean, Little League, I think back in the day would go up to like 12, 12 or 13.
Up to middle school
or even, somewhere in there.
Even through that, maybe, back in the day.
And I will tell you, and I hope my brother watches this, but I'll tell you why I quit playing baseball. I was a stud when I was younger. I'm not going to lie.
Everybody knows that.
I mean, I was the shortstop, pitcher. I was awesome in the field, but I was not a great hitter. I couldn't really hit that well. And so the last season I played Little League, I think I was probably like middle school, 5th grade, 6th grade or something like that. And we were getting ready to move. So our house had a bunch of boxes and everything. And so our last game of the season, I'd already been asked to go to the All-Star game, like, the end of the year All-Star game thing. But our last game of the season, I went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
What does that mean?
0 for 4. So I went up to bat 4 times, and I didn't get a hit.
So you got three strikes at each batter.
Yeah, and I struck out 4 times in a row. Every time I went up to bat, I struck out. God, so when we went home, we were packing, and my brother was writing K Master. They call a strikeout a K. I'm not really sure why. I don't know. But they call it like, and a backwards K is if you are caught watching the ball. Like if you don't swing, you just watch a strike, that's a backwards K.
Is that how they mark on the little
thing, on the scoreboard thing? Yeah, if you ever watch a baseball game, you show people in the stands, they got little Ks they hold up and they put a bunch of them in a row. Nope. That means strikeouts. Nope. Anyways, so
it's the last letter of the word struck.
Struck, the K.
That's how the K comes from.
There you go. So he was writing K-Master on all the boxes as we were packing them. He wrote 0 for 4, and he literally was writing all that. And I was so mad that I literally quit playing baseball. I kid you not. And I did not go and play the All-Star game. I was so upset, and I stopped playing Little League right then and there.
Can you stand by that?
Seriously, that's why.
Your brother was your first YouTube troll.
Like I said, he's 7 years older than me. So, at that point, I was probably 12. So he was like, he's 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. 19, like older. Yeah, just, and just an older brother being stupid. Yeah, thanks, bro. So, So I quit playing baseball that day.
Does he know that?
I think he does. I think I've told him before. But
your son plays now, right?
My son did play. He actually is going to college. But he has played ever since he was in T-ball, and I coached him every single season until we moved up here, which was in 2017. He was in like 5th grade or so. But I coached him every single year. And then when we got up here, they didn't really have... Actually, he did do Little League up here with Brian Stanberry and Silas. He did a couple of years. And then when he got into middle school and high school, he played obviously just high school ball. And then I didn't coach then because I tried, but because you're not part of the school system, they don't let you coach. But,
you can't be on the field or you can't give on-field advice during the game.
Exactly.
I mean, my kid plays ball and I give him all kinds of advice.
Oh my gosh.
Are you?
No, I don't.
You're a fence walker?
I watch. I walk the fence and watch. I don't say anything except good job.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those parents. Great swing. I'm like, no, it wasn't a great swing. He didn't even hit the ball. It wasn't a great swing. No, don't say
you
that.
Got it now.
Yeah.
What are some other things they say all the time, dude? What is
good eye.
When they barely hit the ball, they tip it or they
foul it.
No, just like it doesn't go anywhere. They just barely nick it or tip it or. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. There's probably like 10 sayings, that the parents or the coaches will say to encourage them usually, but I usually keep my mouth shut because the kids are getting all kinds of people yelling at them, the coaches or whatever. And I don't want to add to the confusion, when you're out there.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
It's just like so much to focus on there, hit the ball.
Yeah.
Look at the ball, watch the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, no matter what you tell that boy right then, it's not going to, boy or girl, it's not going to change anything he's going to do up there. They're going to do at that point because you're not going to teach him in 4 minutes how to hit a ball.
No, not while they're doing it in the middle of the game. So
yeah.
I keep my mouth shut. I reserve my talking for just hey, good job or whatever. But I do crack up hearing the parents and other people trying to.
Some are crazy, but that's a whole nother. That's next week's episode. We'll talk about crazy little league parents. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
You see on YouTube like dads fighting umpires.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, bro, your kid's 10.
Yeah.
Dude.
There's no scouts in the stands looking at your kid to go play Major League Baseball. I'm telling you right now, I promise you.
I have seen people get kicked out at my kid's age level, 10, 12. Yeah, totally. The refs will get them out of there.
We're going to have no umpires left.
And that is the biggest thing. And everyone complains about, their umpires stink. Well, yeah, because you ran out the 4 that were halfway decent because you yelled at them for missing a ball and strike. And actually, when we did Little League, we had to umpire the games as coaches. So if there's 3 games on Saturday, there was 9, 11, and 1. If you played the 1 o'clock game, you would ref and umpire the 11 o'clock game, and you had to get the full gear on and go back behind home plate and call balls and strikes. And I used to tell people before the game started, I'd walk over to the other stands. I'd be like, okay, folks, listen. I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid to do this, and I'm telling you right now that I'm going to make some calls that you're not going to like.
I can't see.
I'm like, wait, where's my glasses?
Let me tell you about why I quit baseball. No,
and so now I just tell them, hey, it's not going to be pretty, and there might be some bad calls, but if you think you can do better, here's the mask. Come on out, and let's see how you do.
It's 150 degrees in this uniform.
Yeah, and you're sweating to death.
Great.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's not. I don't think anybody envies the ref or the umpire. I mean, that's
but
a tough
they give them crap though.
It's a tough job.
They do. Well, yeah, it's a hard job to be out there doing that.
Yeah, and no matter what call you make, you're going to make somebody mad. There's 2 teams, and you can only make 1 call. So you're either going to make this team mad or make that team mad. You just got to figure out what coach you like better.
Well, whichever one's paying you more. I mean, that's
Seriously, I'm telling you, I would think about that. I'm like, I don't like that coach. He's a what. So I'm like, I'm going to kind of, if the call's close, I'm just going to make it on this guy's.
Hey.
You think I'm joking, dude?
Well, I mean,
don't
Same way. We used to
have.
we had to, when we picked our teams, we did a lottery. They'd go out and they'd do they'd play and we'd write down what we think are the good kids and the bad kids. And then you had to go in and do a draft. And I'd be like, okay, if you had 2 kids, I'd be like, his parents nuts, this parents cool. I'll take this kid.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a kid that is cool with cool parents than someone that's a stud that you don't want to deal with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's another story too.
There's more layers to it.
Now, what about your daughter? She
My daughter is 16 and she is volleyball.
Oh, okay.
Volleyball and track. She used to do dance. She was big into dance, and then she got into volleyball, and she loves volleyball, and she's pretty good. But if anybody's seen me stand up, we're not the tallest family, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't really have the height. So she's probably going to be a setter, libero type of thing. But obviously they're my kids, so they're super athletic, So yeah, she does that, and then she does track, and she jumps. She's a long jumper and a triple jumper, which I have no idea where that came from.
Dude,
but
the triple jump's the goofiest thing ever.
She does good though.
You don't have any coaching points on those then?
I'm like, jump farther. That's what I tell her. What should I do, Dad? Jump farther than you did last time. That would be a great point.
I could see you setting up a whole triple jump track, runway with a sand pit and saying, "Here's."
But I did tell her the first time when she started doing it, like again, coaches that are in the high school level. Obviously, they probably don't get paid a lot, or even if they get paid, and they're trying to coach 100 kids.
Yeah.
And so they don't get any one-on-one coaching. And she was doing the triple jump. I'm like, babe, I think you're jumping off the wrong foot. And she's like, no, this is what the coach told me. I was like, so of course, YouTube, I go on there and I'm watching like Olympic triple jumpers. I'm like, no, babe, they do this foot, and then that foot. And so I did kind of change her up a little bit.
Do they alternate feet with each?
The first, it's 1, 2. The first 2 are the same foot, and then the third foot, and then go. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like right, left, or left, right.
You're kidding.
Yeah. No, it's insane. I don't know how their knees just don't blow out. Seriously, but I don't know. She does it.
Well, I don't know anything about sports, and so this has been educational for me. I know about running.
Let Jamie learn about sports. Is that what we're calling this one?
Yeah, dude, you could
Sports
say,
ball.
I mean, dude, I'm slowly catching up with the.
You know more
thing,
than you know more than you think. He likes to play. He likes to play it off.
I don't know.
You know how to run? Isn't that a sport?
That's why he has so much free time to think about other things.
It is. Yeah, and I still run some, and I've tried to teach my boys how to run for the sake of baseball. My son watching him run around the bases, and I'm like, golly, I got to teach him how to run. What in the world here? But they're getting with it now.
Perfect.
Trying
That's
to teach
good.
them how to run.
It's important. I mean, as young kids, you need to get out and do sports or get outside, and it's a good thing you get with the team, and you learn teamwork and working with other people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sports is not just about getting good at hitting a ball or catching a ball. Not. I mean, that is fun too when you get good at it, and terrible if you don't. But
Wow, we're getting deep and pretty inspirational
here.
Have you seen it? Wow. If I start crying, shut the camera off, dude.
No, that'd be YouTube gold.
I do enjoy a good kids baseball game when they're all like in the dugout and they're like hanging on the fence of the dugout and they're cheering for their teammate up to bat and they chant and they do all the stuff and so that's pretty cute and they have fun, so they're having a good time. Well, hey, we talked about a little bit your wife, Steph. Can you tell us what she does and maybe how you ended up like here?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Because how'd you end up in Bryson City? Because I always wonder for anybody, like, how in the world did you land on Bryson?
Okay, so I met Steph. So when I moved to Florida, I was in the restaurant business, and so I started bartending in downtown West Palm Beach at a place called E.R. Bradley's.
God, you would be an amazing bartender. I'm just telling you.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Like, even today,
I'm not even going to brag, but I was an amazing bartender. I really was.
You're a stud.
I was a stud.
I mean, that was back when Cocktail was like... Yeah. Okay, maybe a little later. Not the...
So it was, like I moved to Florida in 94. So actually, I worked for Longhorn Steakhouse when I first moved down there, and I used to do corporate openings for them. So I used to travel actually more just the East Coast and do openings for them. I did that for like 3 or 4 years and then just got over that. And then I started bartending and I met Steph probably, let's see, 9/11 was 2001.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was probably like 98, 99 is when I started working at Bradley's. And I met Steph and I was like, yep. But of course the whole baseball guy was in the way. So we were friends for years and we just would work together and I just kept.
So she worked at the bar where you worked?
She worked at the bar that I worked. Okay. And so I just kept, pursuing and finally for some stupid reason, she decided to go out with me. And the rest is history. But so we worked at Bradley's and.
You didn't want to be a career bartender?
I did not want to be a career bartender, but we made a lot of money. We made really good money. But the problem with Bradley's is that we had 16 bartenders on a Saturday night. We had 4 different bars, and there were 16 of us on with 4 bar backs. And we all split money. Mm-hmm. So when you walk into your Bradley's, if anybody listening has ever been there, when you walk in the main bar, there's a point right there, and that's where everybody goes first. And that's where I would work every Saturday. It was the busiest point. And so I would probably, if you want to talk about money, I'd probably pull 500 in tips on a Saturday night. But then you have to split it. Everybody pulls their money, and people that are not in a very busy spot might only pull 100. So now you can do the math. I'm not walking out with 500, So, but It is what it is. But yeah, so Steph and I worked there together, and I used to do bachelorette parties and things like that, and get girls up on the bar and do shots and body shots, and yeah, it was kind of my thing. So yeah.
No wonder she left the baseball player.
A little bit better shape back then, but so we started there, and then actually. She got fired from there because her brother came in, and they were big on not giving away drinks. It was like, give a drink, ring a drink, give a drink, ring a drink, But when you're busy, people that bartender, that's just not real life. You can't do it. You make 5 drinks and then go back and ring up 5 drinks. So her brother was there, and they told her that she gave her brother a drink for free, which she didn't. And so they were going to fire her. And I told the manager at the time, I said, well, I'm just telling you right now, if you fire Steph, I'm leaving. And they're like, nah, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. So they fired Steph and I left.
No way.
Yeah. So
I can't believe they fired her over that.
They fired her over that. Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
it was pretty crazy. So I went and got a job in another place, Brews Room. It was called Brews Room Sports Bar in Boynton Beach. And Stephanie decided that she didn't want to bartend anymore, so she got into what was she doing? Pharmaceutical sales. So she started doing pharmaceutical sales, and it was great. You know, she was doing that. I was bartending. And then I couldn't bartend anymore. It was just the late nights were killing me. So I got my real estate license and I started doing real estate, which was good. She was the 9 to 5. It was the paycheck was coming in. It was insurance. And then we started having kids, which was Rowan was born in 2007. So we had the kids. And so she would work and then I could, bartend 1 or 2 nights a week, do real estate, be at home, whatever. And then she got laid off from pharmaceutical sales right after Ryan was born, 2009.
And so during the recession era right there.
Yeah, during the
Florida
craze.
was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. So she got laid off, and so she went back to doing home healthcare sales or whatever, and she did not like it. She hated it. And she was like, well, what if I went back to school?
What is that?
Home health? Like, so if your parents need to go to like a assisted living facility, you pretty much go and sell assisted living facilities to people that need them.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
So she's like, what if I went back to school? I was like, wow, she's 36 at this point. And I was like, all right. So Steph went back to school at 36 to get her to be a doctor, to be a pharmacist. And so we were living in a house. She was the main breadwinner, being the pharmaceutical rep. So you take, $80,000-$100,000 and insurance out of the equation, things change real quick. So we were actually decided to, and it was again her dad's always got these crazy ideas. He was like, well, why don't you just move in with us? So we did. We sold our house and moved in with Stephanie's parents.
So here?
No, this is in Florida still.
Okay.
So it's me, Steph, Rowan, and Ryan. Wow. Nana and Pop-Up, and her grandfather was alive at the time, Pap-Ap.
Whoa.
So there was 4 generations under one roof.
Right. And you're in your mid-30s.
I'm 30. Yeah, I was like in my mid-30s. Steph was like 36, so I was like, 39, almost 40.
Moving in with the in-laws.
Moving in with my in-laws. And this was a house like 1,800 square feet. Like, it was not big house, and we all lived under one roof. But it just worked, and it was cool. My kids got to see, living with your grandparents, they got to see Pap-Ap alive, and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
That's borderline sitcom territory there.
Oh my gosh, if we had a camera in that house, dude. Wow. It was crazy. But it was a home.
That's amazing. I mean, to have your kids be so well rooted in family like that, multi-generational, that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
I mean, I've never lived anywhere near my grandparents.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I will say that for those out there that may have their kids live with their grandparents, it does change the dynamic of a grandparent, granddaughter, grandson, typical role, because when you're not there, they also have to be somewhat of a parent role. Right. So it does change the dynamic a little bit. It does make it a little bit different, but it was really cool. Like, I will tell the story. So my daughter was young when Pap-Ap was alive, and Pap-Ap died at 97 or 98. And
Wow.
And he lived in the house, and he was a very religious man. He did not want to go to a hospital to die. He wanted to die in his home, go see Jesus. And so he died in the home. And so the coroner or wherever they take him, the men come to get him. And they were all dressed up, whatever. And Ryan was like, are you here to get my Pap-Ap? And they were like, yeah, honey, we are here to get your Pap-Ap. And so, yeah, it was just a cool, not that they died wasn't cool, but just the whole thing of them seeing them. And we went in and sat there when he, passed away. It was just things that kids don't really see nowadays, So not to get too deep, but yeah.
No, I mean,
so anyways, going back then now to Stephanie goes back to school and she graduates at 40 and turns 40 at the same time. And so now she starts working retail pharmacy. And anyone knows retail pharmacy, they call it combat pay because it's brutal. Like, you just get beat up and it's not fun.
And what do you mean by retail pharmacy?
Like working at like Walgreens or CVS or something like that, in a retail setting where it's just, you're dealing with insurance, you're dealing with all kinds of just stuff that's not fun. And you just get no respect. You're just kind of a pill pusher type of thing. And it's just not a good, for people that do it, I'm sorry, but Stephanie didn't like it, put it that way. So she then heard something about Indian Health Services and that they may have an opening in Cherokee, North Carolina.
Okay.
We had never been to North Carolina, didn't know anything about it. So she goes online and finds this job, and she actually contacts them, and they were shocked that she even found the job because it really wasn't posted yet. And so she's like, well, I just found the job online or whatever, and I'd be interested in it. And they're like, well, can you do a phone interview? She said, yeah. So like the next week, she called, and they did a phone interview for like an hour or whatever. And they're like, well, okay, we'll get back to you. We'll let you know. So, a couple days go by, a week go by, whatever, and she doesn't hear anything. So we're getting a little discouraged. And I kid you not, and as I sit here, I'm like, you know what? They're just trying to figure out how much they need to pay you to get you to come up here. And we had talked about, so if we moved to North Carolina, I'm not going to be able to sell real estate because I'd have to get involved. I don't even have a job lined up. I'm not going to make any money. So I'm like, okay, you have to make X amount for this to make it work. And the in-laws were coming with us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
So it was a package deal. You're getting North Carolina's getting the whole package. So I said, you need to make X amount to make this work, or else, just financially, it's not going to make any sense. So,
like you said that there, like during the interview, she said that to.
No, they didn't really talk about money at all.
Gotcha.
It was just complete. This is it. And so I told her, I said, they're probably trying to figure out how much money they need to give you to get you to come up here. And like a week later, they called her back and they said, you know what, we would love to have you, and we can start you out at X amount. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think that X amount was? Exactly what I kid you not, exactly what I said. And I said, okay, this is a God thing. We're not supposed to be in Florida anymore. We're supposed to be in North Carolina. So we went to the kids and said, hey, you want to move to North Carolina? And they're in middle school at this time, and they're like, "What? I want to move to North Carolina." And you can ask Steph. We're like, "We'll buy you new phones," and they're like, "Okay." And that's how we got our kids to move to North Carolina. We told them we're going to buy them new phones. And
Isn't it funny how, like, literally how many times that happens? Though you have something in your head, and sure as somebody hits that exact thing, and you're just like,
it was crazy.
Now I have to do it.
Yeah, and it was just like, if it wasn't meant to be, there would have been a door that shut. But you know what? It didn't shut. Doors just kept opening that were like, okay, this is weird. Okay, this is weird. This is weird. So we bought the kids new phones. But the craziest thing was...
well, you're man of your word.
The craziest thing is that she was like, when do you want me to start? And they're like, we're thinking like 20 or 30 days. Okay. We had never been to Bryson City. We had never been to North Carolina. I didn't know anything about it. All I knew about it is from what I Googled. I literally went online and Googled about Bryson City and like where we should live and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about Cherokee. Didn't know anything about Indian Health Services. Didn't know anything. And she was like, well, can you just give me like 45 days? And that was going to be the break of like Thanksgiving break for the kids. Mm-hmm. So they're like, yeah, that's fine. And so we look at each other like, okay, we got to sell our house. We got to sell the house and move in 45 days.
And switch schools.
And everything. So it was insane. So in Florida.
What year was this? I'm sorry.
This is 2017. No, 2017. Okay. November of 17. So in Florida, to find a rental in Florida, dude, you pick up your phone, you go on Zillow, you can find 20 of them to rent a house. Western North Carolina, not so easy. I literally went on there and I was trying to find a place for us to live, and I couldn't find anything. Now there's 6 of us because we have the in-laws. It's not just a small little family. There's 6 of us. We need a bigger house. I couldn't find anything to rent. I was getting stressed out. We had a camper at the time. I literally was looking at campgrounds. I was going to put my wife and my father-in-law in the camper up here until we could find something to finally move into.
Man.
And then Catherine Trousdale, a local real estate agent, she reached out to me, and she had a woman right down the street from your dad's that was trying to sell the house. And so we worked out a deal where we were going to live there. And then if we wanted to buy it, we would buy it. If not, if she sold it, they'd give us like 30 days to move out. So it worked out. We got a moving truck and packed up all of our stuff and moved to North Carolina not knowing anybody.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And that was, 2017.
No regrets?
No regrets. I mean,
no regrets. So that I think it's okay to say, but that was Robert White's house. That you lived in there on.
Oh, okay.
On Jake's Gap, where I grew up. Sort of, like you said, my dad lives at the end of the road there, and so I was already gone though, of course, from there when you moved in, so I didn't see you there. But go ahead and tell the story about how in the world did you find Perkins Enterprises, which is our building company name. A lot of people have never heard of it because we're Perkins Builder Brothers, but anyway, you're living there.
Before we do that, Do you want to take? I know you mentioned about taking a pee break.
We should take a break.
I mean, I'm all right, but it's up to y'all.
Yeah,
I'm on a roll.
Let's take a quick break. You noodle on that for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we're noodle on all the.
How am I
Perkins
doing?
Builder
I mean, is it all right? Am I talking
Kind of
too
a lot of
much?
talking, but no, you're doing great.
You're hired every
Yeah.
Friday morning, 8 a.m.
So we'll be right back. We're gonna take a quick break.
Okay.
And you can get your head straight for all things Perkins Builder Brothers.
Oh gosh. Here we go.
And we're back. Wherever we are back. So right before the break, I was talking about how you had moved into your house there, and your family came up to Bryson City, never really been here, and here you are.
And here I am.
Take it away from there.
All right. So we're living in this house right down the street from your dad's there, and it was a gorgeous house. It was exactly what Stephanie wanted, what she thought she wanted. It was a big open concept with the fireplace and the loft or whatever, and we were not going to buy it. We were just going to live
Kind of
live
a mountain house, would you say?
Yeah, it was.
A little bit?
Yeah. But we knew that we didn't want to be there, and so we were starting to look for something else to buy. But while we were living there, they had this fan in the ceiling, like a big 2x2 fan that, you hit the switch and it sucks all the air out.
Like a
attic
exhaust
Yeah, like an
fan?
attic exhaust fan type thing. Well, it was broke, and so the louvers were kind of stuck open. So I felt like all the heat from the house is just going right out there. So one morning, I decided that I'm going to take a blanket up there and I'm going to cover it, at least to keep the heat from going out. So I went up there, and I think I was probably in a robe or some slippers. Like, I wasn't dressed for the day. And so I went up there, and of course I'd been in attics thousands of times, and I know that you have to walk on the ceiling joists.
Yep.
And so I'm walking on there, and I'm putting this blanket down, and something happened where where I slipped off and I put my foot right through the drywall. And I'm not talking I broke the drywall. I'm talking my foot went through the drywall, big old hole. And that's not a huge deal except for a couple things. First thing is that it's popcorn ceiling.
Oh, man.
So to fix it, you got to be able to do popcorn. And second of all, it was right when you walk in the front door, you look up the stairs and it's in the loft right there. Like, it was literally the first thing you see.
Perfect.
So we had been there for maybe 2 weeks. So I don't know anybody, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this fixed because I'm not going to get my security deposit back. That's the only thing I start thinking about. So I go on Google, boom, 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 drywall repair near me. And this is not a made up story. Drywall repair near me. And the first thing that pops up is Perkins Enterprises comes up. And I'm like, so I click on their thing and it's like these pictures of these gorgeous homes, in the mountains being built. And I was like, these guys really do drywall repair? I don't know. So I pick up the phone and I call. Boom, boom, boom. Eric answers the phone. And that is the one thing I will say about you guys. And I don't know if anyone else realizes this, but you guys always answer your phone. I mean, to the point where it's almost annoying. Like, we'll be in the middle of work and we'll be like nailing something. Oh, my phone. And he'll go out and they'll have to answer their phone. So Eric answered the phone. And so I tell him, hey, I need some drywall repair. And do you guys do that? And he was like, no, we don't do that. And he was like, how'd you get my number? I said, I just Googled it. And I kid you not, he goes, how are our reviews? I'm like, they're good. And so he goes, no, we don't do that. And I told him the whole story about how I fell through how I fell through and everything. And he goes, we use a guy, Lex and Rex Price, I can give you their number, whatever. And so... And at that time, I wasn't even really thinking about work or anything, but for some reason, I was like, I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, by the way, I have a little bit of construction background. I did construction in high school.
Love doing concrete.
Love doing concrete. I've been to Haiti a bunch of times. We used to put roofs on churches and things like that. On mission work, I did that. So I'm like, I'm handy. I believe I'm a hard worker. I can pick things up pretty quick. And so I was like, you know what? If you guys ever need a hand, like if you ever need someone to carry some boards or clean up the job site or something, I just moved here. I could use some work. And I can imagine him on the other line. Florida kid, put his foot through the ceiling. Yeah, I'm going to hire you, buddy. Yeah. And he was like, no, we're good right now. I was like, all right. So he gives me Rex's number and I call him. Rex comes out. He fixes it. It looks fantastic. So again, something in me just says, you know what? I'm going to call Eric back and thank him. So I called Eric back again. I go, hey, I just want to thank you for giving me Rex's number. It looks great. By the way, again, if you ever need anybody, to work, I'm here. And he was like, it's so funny that you called. We're doing a big job. We were doing Nathan Morgan's house, and we were putting the big ridge beam up. He's like, I'm short a couple guys. Could you work tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, come out. He's like, well, I'm not sure how much I can pay you. And I'm like, well, I'm not even sure if I want to work for you or not. I'm like, how about I'll come out, I'll work for the day.
Yeah.
And if it works out, we can talk about it from there. And he's like, okay. Next day, showed up at Nathan's, and we were putting a ridge beam up, and I worked for the day. And Eric was like, yeah, I can give you X amount if you want to work. And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And so the rest is history.
How about that? You just never left.
Yeah, I just never left.
And Nathan's your electrician that you use most of the time, right?
Yeah, building the big house. I missed out on that. I wasn't there.
You weren't even there. No,
I don't
because
know what I was doing.
I met you the first
You were on
day.
the phone.
The first Friday, I had to drive up to. No, you're way, way, way. The house that Nana's.
Yeah, Fontaine. Oh, she texted me too. I forgot I had to call them. They got woodpeckers.
Oh yeah.
Pecking the deck.
Yeah, he said that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did drive up there for to get my paycheck. They're like, yeah, just go to this address, and so it was up in Fontana Lake Estates. And I'm like driving, and I'm driving, and I'm driving. I'm like, dude, are they sending me on a wild goose chase? Because I drove for like a half hour, and I still wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Burned your paycheck and gas just to
Yeah,
get
exactly. Yeah, and that's when I met Jaime for the first time. But yeah, these guys, dude, you guys are legit. You're such good guys, and it's been awesome just being a part of
I
it.
appreciate that. You don't
Yeah.
have to say that, but I appreciate
No,
that.
I'm being honest. Yeah, I mean,
Well, you're a great guy to have on the crew, as everybody knows from watching Builder Brothers videos. And you're kind of the life of the party still, even though you're not bartending. At least I don't think you are. You could be.
not just on Friday nights at the house.
But no, you really.
it. That's why we're building the Four Seasons Grill.
You don't ever invite me over.
You lie. I invite you all the time.
No, I know. We need to come over. By the way, Jason is the home of the big bonfire. He's always throws the best bonfire parties around here.
I do like
If
some
you didn't
fire.
know- if you didn't know that. So like we'll save up like pallets or Christmas trees or anything highly flammable that's large and pile it up in his yard because he's got a spot to do that and he's willing to dedicate a area of his place to do that. So
Bonfire.
And
Dude,
the,
I got some good
and the
stuff
local
right
fire
now.
department.
Yeah.
by the way, if you're interested,
No,
I
I,
just cut
already
down
have a
some
10-foot pile that I have to burn. So once I get that down, then we can talk.
dude, I just cut down some, those big cypress trees by my shop. They were right by my driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda. They were getting out of hand. Dude, they're so hard to cut because they get really tall and then I can only reach 10 feet high.
Yeah.
And it's taller than that. So it looks like a pineapple because I cut the bottom part and the top is just like.
I'm sure your wife
crap.
loved that.
So finally, I laid them down and I need to get rid of those things. So I'll drop them off.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. even though
At
you
Ben's,
just said-
at Ben's house.
Oh, man.
You didn't cut
So,
them with you didn't cut them with a lawnmower attached to the end of an excavator.
No,
did
I
you?
tried. I did pick them up and move them with the excavator though, and that was handy. But so back then, we didn't do YouTube. We were just building houses. We're just regular guys building houses, kind of like we still are today, but just it's on video now.
And that was 2017, 2018?
2017,
Yeah,
November,
so-
I moved here.
okay.
So I think I started working probably around Christmas of 2017.
Okay.
Are you like Ray? You can remember the order of the houses that we built,
No,
like
God,
where
no.
we were and when.
No.
Somehow Ray remembers all that. I don't know how he does. I literally can't tell you the house we built before the one I'm doing now. I don't
can't.
know. If you ask me, I'd be like, dude, I can't figure it out.
Ramels.
See? It
It was
wrong.
Ramel's.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I would have
Yeah.
not thought of that.
I mean, there's probably a couple in there I don't even remember. But yeah, like when I was in grade school, we moved. So I went to kindergarten, first and second. I was in one house. Third, fourth, and fifth, I was in another house. Sixth, seventh, eighth, I was in another house. And then high school, I was in another house. So that's how I remember like what house I was in and kind of the years because of what school I was in.
Dang.
Yeah, I think my stepdad was running from the law or something. I don't know. My mom went to a different grade school every single year.
No.
K through 8.
No.
Wow.
Yes.
Military or
No, I don't know. I have no idea why. She went to a different grade school every single year.
Bad kid.
I don't know. No, it wasn't that. No, I don't know. Maybe my grandfather was running from the law. I don't know. Anyways,
so it's Steph's parents that live with you guys.
so Stephanie's parents live with us. Yeah, her dad, Nana and Pop live with us. So yeah, when we moved in with them down in Florida, it was kind of the thing where, so they took the financial burden off of me where we lived there. We didn't have a mortgage, and they were there to help with the kids and stuff. But it helped out too. Bob has a lot of health issues, so he couldn't do a lot of things. And they had a pool, and so I, took care of the pool. I cut the grass. I was the handyman around the house. So it actually worked out really well. And then when we were moving up here, they could have stayed down there, but at that point we'd been together for probably 4 years. And it was just kind of thing where, it was just kind of us now. And so, they helped us out when we first moved here. They helped us out with our down payment on the house, and the deal was, okay, you give us this down payment, and then we'll just make sure that you have a place to live without a mortgage for the rest of your lives. Like, you have a place to live without worrying about, having to pay a mortgage or anything. So it works out well. I mean, they're phenomenal people. They really are. But like any in-laws, there's times where you need to get away from them.
So you ended up buying a house.
We did.
After how long you rented?
It was only like 3 or 4 months, and it was so funny too because when we were down in Florida waiting for the kids to finish the semester, and Stephanie and Bob were up in the rental property, and so I'd be at home, I'd be on the computer, and again, not knowing anything about up here, I'm looking at houses, and of course, we needed a bigger house. We needed a place for Bob and Martha to have their area, the kids to have their area, and then Steph and I, obviously. And so I'd send her, I'd find stuff on Zillow, and I'd send it to her, and she's like, "Stop sending me houses with a view," because being from Florida, being flat, she didn't want to drive up the side of a mountain with other cars coming down, and she was like, "That's not going to work." And we bought a house that we probably wouldn't have picked as our first choice. It's not one that I thought she wanted. But it works out awesome. We have the basement, which I refinished, and that's where Steph and I live in the basement. Bob and Martha have their main, they have the main living area with a little sitting room, and then the kids have upstairs. So it's not, a great house for entertaining, but it's for living every day. It actually works out phenomenal with us.
You got a pretty banging place. I mean, the location's good, and you got a lot of flat ground around your house, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Well, you do too, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben got a really awesome spot too.
Yeah.
And you do too, Brett. How about that? You guys
besides us three, nobody else has anything. We're the only ones with good stuff.
Well, I'm basing it on how much flat ground is around your house, because that is, when people call me to go build a house, they take me to the site of the property they're looking to buy, and it's always on some cliffside, mountainside, steep road. Like I said, Stephanie didn't want to drive up a steep road, so good on her for that, and y'all found a nice flat spot. And you got room to turn around, and you have a garage.
Yeah. So it's been nice, and I've done a lot of things to it. Of course, Stephanie will tell you, she's like, "Oh, it's perfect. It's like move-in ready." Yeah, right. And we have changed so many things on that house, but we change it the way we want, and so we love the house, and it's nicely centrally located. Silva, Bryson, Stephanie works in Cherokee, so it's a good little spot that we like.
You live right down the street from where the train track is, the Smoky Mountain Railway. Where there's this YouTuber guy you probably haven't heard of, Mr. Beast or something. I don't know. He's kind of new, and he's trying to gain some traction now. But anyway, we're trying to boost him a little bit. They did a big train wreck thing, right?
They did.
And that was like right down, in front of your house.
It was right down the street from my house. And it's funny, my son being in high school at the time, one of his buddies was like, "Oh, Mr. Beast is doing a video on your road," and I was like, "Yeah, right, come on." And so one day I was coming home from work, and I went to go drive down my road, and they actually had a woman out front stopping traffic, and she was like, "Oh, you can't come through." And "Why not?" "Oh, they're doing something down the thing to the road." And I was like, "Maybe he is." Yeah, he did something where he built a brick wall and tried to put a locomotive through it. Yeah, the train's still there on the side.
They just crashed it, and there it is.
They did. Yeah, the kids go down there and take pictures, and they climb on and take pictures on it. They're like,
hey, that's like, dude, just another a couple miles up the river, the train from what was the movie?
The
Fugitive. Yeah, yeah. Is it Harrison Ford? Is that right?
It is. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah. So around here, they crash trains and leave them.
Yeah.
Bryson City's in the Fugitive a few times. They drive right through the middle of downtown.
Oh yeah.
They do.
That's right across the train tracks.
And that's the first real train that was ever crashed for a movie. Like, actually, they wrecked a train in a movie.
Can we get back to me, please?
Yeah. So
it is about you. It's about living near train tracks.
Well, you're gonna live near the new Harry Potter set.
Oh, dude!
Yeah,
Did you
he
know
probably
that?
doesn't know that.
You heard that? Dude, what do you mean in your backyard?
Literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Hogwarts is going to be in your
They're
backyard.
gonna build a castle, bro. Right?
Where?
This is news to you?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know the big building they were tearing down a building?
Yeah, in the corner by the
big industrial thing. I think they're going to build a castle. I'm not sure.
Well, a school.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and we've got confirmed data from the train that in 2026 they're going to have a Harry Potter train start, and what they're doing, it's sort of like the Polar Express, but they're building Hogwarts in front of your house.
You know what Hogwarts is?
No, and I don't even tell. I don't want to know. Just let's leave it at that. Let me just research it.
So you're gonna love it, dude. I'm excited.
You should just start Airbnb in your house out. You'd be like,
Yeah.
this is the
Any Harry Potter fans want to come hang out?
That's not a bad idea. The Four Seasons thing.
Yeah.
You can make
So
some
I gotta
revenue
put
on that
the
thing.
wands, one of those wand things.
There you go.
I gotta get some of those. But the funny thing about the train is when we were looking at houses, we were looking at that house, and the train runs right in front of our house. And so I'm thinking, from Florida, I'm thinking train, noise, craziness. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. How loud is it? How often does it run? And Catherine, the same woman, was our real estate agent at the time. She was like, you don't know anything about Bryson City, do you? I was like, I don't know anything about Bryson City. She's like, no, it's just a tourist train. It goes like 10 miles an hour, and it just comes by. And we're like, okay, that's all right. But now it's like a novelty. Like, we literally have blowhorns. And so when the train comes by, we have a big deck on the front. We actually go out and we blow our horn, and the conductor's like, and we're like, and we blow it back and forth to him, and we wave to people. Yeah, so now it's kind of like a novelty
How
thing.
far is the track there, really? It's across a field, like a road. It's not like right
Yeah, I
in
mean,
front of your
it's
house.
it's
You're from
100
Chicago,
yards. It's
you can
100
live-
yards.
Does your house vibrate at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It did with that earthquake.
I think I actually have it worse than you. Not that this is episode's
Where's yours
not
at?
about you.
Oh,
I live
you're right at the top. Yeah.
I live above.
Yeah,
the
you
depot.
probably do, because that's where everyone loads on and off.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
right.
Oh, they
idle
blow the horn
and-
like
Yeah.
crazy down there.
Yeah,
But yeah, so the train's actually pretty cool. It's
So does
pretty
Ben.
fun.
Ben was
yeah.
Close to the
close
train.
proximity
Yeah.
to the
I
depot.
think Ben gets more of the live music from the.
I do,
Oh yeah, dude! I heard it the other day when I was mowing late in the day,
Yes.
and right down the hill.
Music from where?
The Bryson City Brewing. The way they have that trailer stage, and it's turned, this way, but it's like sort of turned right up the hill. The sound just goes,
Right
right.
to Ben's house.
Party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Party
it's
on,
good.
Garth.
Never been
The,
invited to the parties.
Yeah, well,
Well, we've never been invited to yours either.
Yeah,
evidently.
Ben just sits on his front deck and listens to live music.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
so
They should be
since
charging you.
Since we talked about lawnmowers last week, and you missed out on that, this little thing right here,
Yeah.
I just got to share the story about when you brought me your lawnmower blades, or you showed me your lawnmower blades because you thought maybe they needed replaced.
Bob, bless his heart.
Dude, well, okay, so Bob mows the yard for you. You got a nice mower.
Yeah, we bought a 0-turn Kubota that he mows, and he loves. Like I said, Bob's got some health things, so to sit down and do that, he loves it, and it gets him outside, and gets some exercise and some sun outside. But the problem with Bob is that he can't hear. And then he wears his headphones, he puts his Christian music on, and he's rocking out there with the mower, and he wants to cut it perfect. So he wants to get close to everything. Of
course.
Well, the problem is he can't hear when he hits everything. So so he gave me a blade one time, and I showed it to Jamie. I kid you not, it was curled up on the end like this.
Dude, I have seen a lot of blades.
And it wasn't the wing, the lift.
Dude, no, it was
mangled.
and worn, and it looked like it was 65 years old. This blade,
Yeah.
I have never.
Another
seen
one
anything like
he
that.
gave me was actually literally broke in half. Like it broke right off.
I thought it was a joke. I could not actually believe this was a real blade you pulled off here. I don't know how to cut any grass at all.
But the kicker is Bob goes, well, it wasn't me. I'm like, what do you mean it wasn't you?
It was Rowan.
I'm like, it wasn't like. See, he gets a little defensive on Bob, so he thinks that he's like, yeah, that's what I did. I went out and ruined your mower. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I'm saying that you have your headphones on, you can't hear, and when you hit something, you don't know that you hit something. But I'm like, Bob, blades don't just curl up on the end for no reason. They don't just break in half. It doesn't happen. And even the deck was cracked.
Oh yeah.
Like there was a bunch going on. So I actually banned him from cutting the grass.
Oh no.
For a while, I was like, okay, I can't afford for you to cut my grass. Like, I have to take the mower in so much. So for like a couple times, I did it, and then he was getting anxious, and he's like, let me cut the grass. And so when we were in Italy, he cut the grass, and I come home, he's like, well, I had a little mishap, and I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. But it wasn't the mower. He hit part of the structure where the pole barn, he hit part of that structure, and
That's
he broke
no
a little bit of board. And then the next week he's like, well, I did have a little problem with and I'm like, so he
Take away his license.
the shed that I put the mower in, it's got the double door, like this one latches, and so he must have not opened this one, and he backed the mower into it or something, and it kind of broke the latch a little bit. But
That's no big
yeah,
deal.
that's no big deal.
So
He
you-
likes to keep me busy. He doesn't like to see me sitting around. He likes to keep me busy.
Creating
So.
Project.
content.
You need
for
But
your
I
channel.
will say, in their defense, Bob and Martha, like Martha does all the hedge clipping. She does the garden. She does all the landscaping. Bob cuts the grass. Bob cleans my shop. Bob cleans my tools with a freaking toothbrush.
Well, I heard you say you.
Yes,
I
like
need
they
to
look
get my
brand new. Like you can ask Ray, it's insane. And Bob is a pleaser. Like he really, for some reason, and I'm the meanest to him. And if he watches this, I really am. But he loves doing things for me, and I really don't know why, but he does, and he does a phenomenal job. He vacuums the shop, he cleans my tools, he cleans my boots. Like it's insane.
That
but
is
keeps
insane.
him busy.
So
thanks, Bob.
I don't have a guy.
Thanks,
like
Bob.
that.
Thanks,
So,
Bob. Whoever's watching.
Tell everybody. I already know, but just for everybody else about the barbecue grill. When he cleaned it.
Oh, he did clean it. Yeah, he went to town with a toothbrush again on my grill, and it looked like it was brand new.
I want to take my grill to your place.
He was shining it. Yeah, it was nuts.
I think we have the same grill. We could just swap, and he would just think you got yours dirty again.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I tell everybody, I'm like, if you want your grass cut, just have Bob come to your house, and he'll cut it for you.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to do.
sounds great.
Well, he'll take out my deck though.
Yeah, you might take. Yeah, hope you got insurance. If you got insurance, you're good.
Well, you can't blame a guy for wanting to mow some grass.
Yeah, he does.
I can relate.
He
to
loves
that.
it. He gets out there and just
I mean, that's what a great
oblivious.
time.
He's oblivious.
What a great time. We could do a whole episode just on talking about that.
Or a girl. My mother-in-law mows her grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she loves it.
That's her thing.
Nana
Used
weeds. She does the weed
Yeah.
eater.
Yeah.
I won't let her touch the mower though.
Ashley mowed the grass when I was in where was I? Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. She'll never do it again. I love you, babe, but and it wasn't because I don't want her to. She did fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
she about died, I think. Because I've got
it
a
has been hot.
regular
You just
walk
need to get a
behind.
riding mower.
No, I don't have a riding.
He's the
You need to
worst.
get one.
He's the worst for
Bro,
mowers.
get off your wallet, dude.
He'll buy Porsches, but he won't
Yeah.
buy a mower.
I can't afford a riding lawnmower.
I didn't say I couldn't afford it.
I love you.
I've
Brett.
killed two. I've had two break. The transmission goes bad on them. And I can't get a big old heavy industrial one because
Bob will fix it for you.
Bob will fix it.
Bob, he's the ultimate mechanic.
I think it's the user error.
Probably.
What is that?
All right, what's on our agenda?
Well, look at you're on the time.
What time is
schedule.
it?
I'm not telling you. Ray said he couldn't come in.
I was gonna say our episode's usually like 3 or 4 hours, so I hope you're good for a while.
Perfect. I don't
Yeah,
know if
this-
anybody wants to listen to me for 3 hours.
Oh, I promise you they do.
They might.
We do.
We're back to the job site.
Okay.
Back to Perkins Builder
Yeah.
Brothers. So I've asked everybody that's been here about their favorite job to do.
And
on the
I was
job.
thinking about this because I watch Rays, and I was thinking about it on the way here because obviously everyone knows what my least favorite is. That's pretty much a gimme. But my
I
favorite,
don't know what
You
it
better
is.
say it.
oh, it's painting. I can't
I
stand
knew
it.
it.
I'm telling you. And it's not. I don't just say that just to say it. Now again, rolling a wall or something like that at your own home is one thing, but obviously people that know Jaime, he does phenomenal work, and everything needs to be done a certain way. So I get a little stressed out, when I'm painting, especially if I'm trying to cut or something, because it's obviously it's not going to look like it should or great. So the painting kind of gives me a little bit of stress, and it's just I don't like it. I'd rather
You do good at it though.
No, I don't.
You actually do.
I don't.
I
I can
love
roll.
watching-
I
love
can
watching
roll.
You roll. You can roll.
I can roll,
you're
and I've
gonna roll.
I've actually rolled like the last 3 houses.
We gotta-
Ray's cut every bit, and I've rolled almost every. Ramel's the whole thing. Eric rolled literally 4 feet of one wall just for the video, and he left it like that with the roller still in the pan, still wet, and he's like, "Oh, got the shot," and just walked out. Seriously. And then Ray cut that whole house, and I painted the whole house. I rolled the. He cut it, I rolled. But I was trying to think what else I don't like doing, and I guess the beauty with the Perkins Enterprises is that we do so much that it's like you're not doing the same thing. You do the one thing for a week or two. Now with Brock's, it's a little bit different because it's so big. But for the most part, you'll frame for a couple weeks, you'll do siding for a couple weeks, you'll do this for a couple weeks. So you're always doing something different, not just doing the same thing every day. So that definitely helps with the monotony of it every day. But I don't like the paint. I actually enjoy siding. I really like doing siding. I think just it going up and seeing the different change from the green board to actually being sided.
Do you like
is
the
pretty cool.
lap siding, or you like the
Anything.
nickel gap?
Anything.
What do you think about the nickel gap?
I'm going to put the nickel gap on the structure at my house. I actually like it. I like the vertical. I like the way with my house it's going to be easier because nothing 12 foot is the highest it is. Now with Brock's with the 16 foot with the brake and the flashing, I don't know if I love that look, but I do like the look of the vertical. I think it looks a little bit modern. Now I'm going to do window trim and door trim and corner boards and things like that.
Yeah.
Standard where you put that up first and then the siding. But I do like the siding.
All right, so siding's your favorite. Favorite part of the job is putting up siding.
Sure.
Is there a reason you're never the cut man?
I can cut. I just no. I mean, Jono kind of fell into that role after Arlo left. Ray likes to cut. I mean, I can cut. I don't think I do a bad job cutting, and that's a good thing too. That we all can do everything. I think it's not like this is your specialty. This is your specialty. I mean, I really don't have a specialty. I would say, but
bringing the party.
But I think I can do pretty much everything that needs to be done. Now, I don't love intricate trim work. That's more Jamie's. Like, I'm not really.
You don't get your giggles out of doing that.
No, when it's got to be precision, that's not really It's not really my forte.
You do rustic well.
I do. I love rustic.
Me too.
I love rustic.
That's
it looks rustic, babe. And that's the one thing about my wife, Stephanie. I love you to death, and she has very low standards when it comes to my work, which is phenomenal, dude. Seriously, I'll even do it. I'm like, that looks like crap, and she's like, what? No, I think it looks great. Which is great for me,
dude.
Seriously,
I'm happy for you. I think you coined the maybe the term that has a far away look.
Yeah, farther away you get, the better way it looks.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of has that far away kind of look.
Caulk and paint.
Good like from that. Far, but far from good.
Yeah. And also maybe you came up with the we'll quit looking at it. Well, I don't know if that looks right. Well, stop looking at it.
Stop looking at it.
There you go.
Looks good for my. It looks good for my house.
I got a random way you're talking about quotes. Jay, you're like the king of the quotes. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie of all time? Wow.
Probably Harry Potter.
I mean, because you quote movies.
If I had to say one that I've probably watched the most would be Tommy Boy.
Oh man, that's a good one. Full of
that's
quotes.
probably the one movie I've watched the most is Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Do you have a small jacket you wear around?
Fat guy in a little
Chris
coat.
Farley, man.
That's
somebody that got taken way too soon.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he was just, his brain just worked totally different than anybody else.
Like he was on drugs or crazy. Like he was wired all the time.
Yeah.
Those old, just watching those old SNL like bits and stuff like that.
But that type of genre, like the old like slapstick kind of like that, is kind of my jam.
That is good stuff.
But I don't really watch movies nowadays. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't really
have time.
Because you're editing videos and making ads.
Doing something, yeah.
I get
Hey, you gotta be busy.
I get that.
As far as the on the job, the other thing I've asked is like, what is the most essential like tool in the tool belt for you?
Tape measure.
Oh, okay. Jono said the same thing.
Yeah.
What did Ray say?
Kind of hard to work.
I don't know.
Ray didn't say that. No.
Pry bar.
I don't know.
I think Ray said hammer.
Ray probably needs nail pull. Would be his.
Nail pull.
Sorry, Ray. I love you. I'm just joking. Skittle. Oh yeah, Ray's is definitely Skittles. Yeah, that I don't know about that whole Skittle thing. Like work starts getting hard. He's like, oh, my blood sugar's low. Oh, here we go. I'm like, come on, bro. I'm just joking.
Ray, I love you, buddy. Diabetic, so yeah.
Well,
at least
he uses that to his advantage.
Yeah, I mean,
he wears some. I'm gonna start just putting a beeper on my hip. Be like, beep, beep. Oh, blood sugar's low. We gotta go get some Skittles. You finish digging that hole.
Oh gosh!
So you might have to edit that part
out.
out.
You like the physical labor side of things.
I do.
I mean, I'm not just saying that.
No, I do.
You absolutely. You'll just go dig a ditch or mow block or whatever.
No, you always have good attitude. Actually, Ashley was so excited about your attitude about crawling around that crawl space a couple of weeks ago that she couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That you were happy to do it.
I mean, you got two choices. You can choose to be in a bad mood or you can choose to be in a good mood. And I guess I just choose to be in a good mood.
I like that.
I have that quote on my wall in my house. Happiness is a choice.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything's a choice,
Yeah.
Choice.
So, I mean, it can suck. It's gonna suck, and you can either be in a good mood and it's gonna suck. You can be in a bad mood and it's gonna suck. So,
Definitely.
I mean, seriously, I still got to dig the hole. I mean, the hole's got to get dug. So you can complain about it or just do it.
I was up at Brock and Alexis's house yesterday checking it out, and there's a lot that's changing. You haven't been there in a couple of weeks. You said?
Yeah, I mean the inside. I was there when the insulators were there, so I haven't. I saw that.
It's very different with the insulation.
Yeah. When you can't see through the walls, it changes it's a lot.
Well, even just walking around talking, it's just it's so much more dampened. Because before it was like it seems so
Why
loud.
is it wet?
No,
no, the sound.
The sound is damp.
No, yeah, there you go. Oh, he's playing a trick on us here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The raccoons had a field day.
Love a good sound.
Raccoons are in there?
Oh yeah, dude, they munched up the coffee bar and
No.
the K-cups and the treats. All the little Debbies are gone.
There's no little Debbie's.
Yeah, there
There was a
Who
box
brought
on that
Little
video.
Debbie's?
I don't know. Well, Alexis had got a gift of all the stuff for us. All the
I saw
food
the
and all
coffee maker. I didn't see the Little
did all
Debbie's.
that. She brought us all kinds of stuff, and then I guess we didn't eat it fast enough, and the raccoons had a heyday.
Well,
so.
Jonathan said like the raccoons would open all these little like cups of creamer
yeah.
and like little shooters.
Dude, if I had a camera in there. Oh.
I will say, so a lot of people know I don't work a lot. I take a lot of time off, and it seems like everything happens when I'm gone. Like all the new shirts come in when I'm gone. All the Little Debbie's come in when I'm gone.
Yeah.
All the bonuses come in when I'm gone. I'm like, you got a bonus? Where'd you? That always happens to me when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, it's called Jason's vacation bonus.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Where are we at?
Well, that's you were talking about. I mean, Rex and Lex were there putting up drywall. And holy moly!
Yeah.
Dude,
That's a
okay, I
lot
lied.
of
That's one
drywall.
thing. That's my worst. I would never.
I've never
No, I could put up drywall, but
Yeah.
mudding it and taping it, you got to be a different breed to do that.
I know. Well, man, it's just
you know what you
so
need?
much.
Patience.
Yeah.
You know what I don't have? Patience.
Because they're putting in those are. How long are those pieces?
12 foot.
They're 12 footers.
Yeah, 12 foot, yeah.
Like to go upstairs and see that there's like 30 12 footers just sitting there in the hallway. It's like how like just carrying those things up there, man.
5/8 or half inch.
Half inch upstairs everywhere, but 5/8 in the garage
Oof,
because the fire rating for the garage because there's living space above the garage. Hey, something interesting. People may or may not know that you call the place the drywall supplier because it's not like you can get a few boards of drywall at a lumber yard or like at Lowe's, but there are special drywall places, right? They carry everything drywall. I mean, there's a lot of different products available. So anyway, you call the place, you order it, they show up, and they load the house for you. Like they carry it from the truck outside into the house. So when you order it, that's part of the price, I guess, is it being in
They
the
actually
house.
have that machine thing sometimes when the windows aren't in, they'll just, they put up time, they slide it right off that through the windows.
That's exactly right. So they have a boom arm thing, and the guy called me, the delivery guy, and he's like, hey, your windows are in. And, we can't get the boom arm in there to get it upstairs. And so what that means is they have to hand load it to the upstairs, of course. And you know what it looks like there at the house. And there's like a half spiral staircase, and it's not real convenient. So anyway, it costs extra money. They say, all right, either we're going to leave it downstairs or you pay X number of dollars per board of drywall, and they will do whatever it takes to get it up there.
Wow.
So we had to pay extra to get it up there.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, so think about that. I don't like to leave a window out, though, even though it'd be easier. Like the amount of hassle related to, okay, one window's not done, the siding's not done, the trim's not done, whatever it is around that one window because we were trying to save money or something, it doesn't pay out in my mind,
See, I don't care.
So I didn't have to do it. So
A 4x12 by 5/8 sheet of drywall weighs 90 to 100 pounds. And then a 4x12 by a half inch, which is what they would have taken upstairs, weighs 60 pounds of board.
Wow.
yeah.
It's a lot.
And there's a lot of them up there. A whole lot.
So getting
Good
paid
thing I was on
extra is
vacation.
probably...
I can't say the edges of them are perfect.
I was actually that day I was in here answering my phone during the podcast because the guys were delivering it and they couldn't find the house and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Can't find the house. Dude, drive up the mountain. It's kind of hard to miss.
No,
Yeah. Well, you got another call. Well, they were about to go to a whole different road, I think, or something. They had the wrong thing in their GPS.
Yeah.
Somebody called for like they were going to your house for something.
Oh, yeah,
That
the
was-
siding.
yeah, that was a siding.
The delivery guys.
They just show up. They don't tell you. They don't tell you they're coming. Yeah.
Well, they got 30 loads to deliver in a day. They can't call everybody,
Gotcha.
Especially you, No.
Well, the with your spare time, whenever you're not working or doing video stuff,
Yeah.
What I know you guys have a camper.
We
and you
do.
have a boat.
We have a camper and we have a boat. Yeah, the camper thing. So when Bob, he was with the county forever, and when he retired, he took all of his pension as a one lump sum. Because when he was younger, he didn't do a whole lot with his kids, and he missed out. He feels on their childhood. So when my kids were around and they were younger, he was like, this was his second chance to kind of hang out with his kids. So he bought a camper. He bought a Class C. And we had that for like 10 years. We actually did 36 days in the camper.
Oh, wow.
As a family. And it, again, was me, Steph, Rowan, Ryan, Bob, and Martha, and our nephew Aiden, 7 of us in a camper for like 30 days.
And you like traveled around?
All the way out to Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, we've done 2 of them. We did that. We did another one. We went up north into Canada and went whale watching. So we used the that thing. And so when it got a little bit older and was kind of starting to break down a little bit, Stephan was like, okay, I think we need to upgrade. So we bought during COVID, we bought a travel trailer. And we use it a lot. We really do. We go to the lake a lot. We like going to the lake. We have a little boat. So we take the camper to the lake and pull the boat up right there. And that's kind of our getaway.
Well, and you have a unique setup that my wife and I would never be able to pull off, because you pull a camper with one vehicle and your wife pulls
My wife
boat.
Pulls the boat with the other. Yeah.
No. That we can't do what you do.
We can't either, Ben.
You can't. And I'll tell you what, the boat, it's a small boat, but it's wide. Like when you trailer, it's as wide as the camper. And so I stress out a little bit. I just don't like, it's a good thing I can't see in my rearview mirror when I'm going, because I go in front and she goes behind. I can't see what's going on back there. So I just imagine everything's perfect, which I know it's not. I know it's not. But, and we don't do long trips. Like we'll go to like Lake Chattooga or Lake Kiwi or something like that. So like 1-2 hours is about the most we'll go. So it's not terrible, but yeah, we pull the camper. I pull it with the boat, and I pull it with my truck, and she pulls the little boat with her Jeep.
I remember when you were looking at boats, like you maxed out a size based on what was pullable.
Yeah, I didn't like a pontoon would be great, but they're so big and wide, and to trailer them. I mean, a pontoon's great if you keep it at the lake and you just go down and jump in it and go like Ben, like you do. But we like to go and travel and do and see different lakes and see different places. So that's why we do how we do.
Yeah, we don't see you on Fontana much anymore.
We were out 2 weeks ago. We went out. But yeah, we were keeping our boat down in Alarka, but it's just like last year we just didn't use it enough to, justify the payment of the slip every month. Yeah. So
anything else fun?
Anything else fun? Yeah, I guess. I mean,
thinking hard
we
about
used to do a lot of hiking, but unfortunately now, or fortunately now, the channel does take up some of my Saturdays and stuff like that. But we do like to travel, and we like to. Everybody gives us crap. They're like, "Oh, you're always on vacation. You're always doing this." But we were blessed, and my wife's got a great job, and she makes decent money, and thank God the YouTube channel gives us the ability to travel and do things. And life is short, man. I'm not going to try to get too deep, but Brock is the perfect example. It's like, you got to live your life. You never know what's going to happen. You could not wake up tomorrow. So I'm totally 100% on work hard, play hard. We bust our butts and we work hard, and we try to take advantage of, things as much as we can. So,
yeah. The, anything what are you looking forward to in the next little bit, like summer, fall, any big plans, big trips?
No, big trips. No, I don't think we have any other big trips planned. I mean, we got just camping. We're gonna have the camper at the lake most of July out on Lake Chattooga.
Nice.
And it's nice. It's only an hour away. You can just get back and forth.
They do a big fireworks show down there, don't they? For
4th of July.
Yeah.
I'm not a big 4th of July. I love 4th of July, but I don't like to be around people on 4th of July. Gotcha. It just seems like, the crazies come out, the weirdos come out, or something comes out where it's just bad things, I think, happen, when you get around a bunch of people on 4th of July. So I like to try to stay away from people on 4th of July as much as I can.
Private giant bonfire.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. I love going to the lake, and I'll go, other weekends, but 4th of July is one weekend I try to stay away from the lake. It just seems like some bad things could happen.
Rowan's going off, right? So you're
Rowan's going to
kid?
College. He's going down to FAU. So that's where Steph went to her undergrad, is Florida Atlantic. And then she went to Florida, I should know this, Palm Beach Atlantic for her doctorate. But yeah, it's undergrad down in Boca Raton, Florida. So he goes down in August, which would be fun because we're already looking at Parents Weekend. But my brother is still in Florida. And so his kids are about the same age as my kids, so it makes it easy to send him down there, knowing that all of our friends, from church are down there, and so it makes it a little bit easier send him that far away, knowing that people are 20 minutes away if anything ever was to happen, or if he needed help with anything. So that's super easy. But yeah.
with everybody else, that's all the other guests we've had, we've sort of ended with asking them what their parting wisdom is, that if they had any parting wisdom.
Wow.
You've already shared a lot of wisdom. So I'll give you credit for that.
My parting wisdom.
You've said a couple of good wisdom nuggets, but
I don't know. I did read a quote the other day that, a lot of people, the word luck comes up a lot of times where, if someone's very successful or if they're doing good, it's always like, oh, they're so lucky. They're so lucky. And I was watching some podcast and some gentleman was like, you ever realize that the harder you work, the luckier you are? So, I don't know if I have any wisdom, but my mom, it's so crazy because when I was a kid, my mom she's always like, your brain is so powerful. Like, you can do anything. Like, if you set your mind to it, you can do anything. And as a kid in high school, grade school, you're like, yeah, okay, mom, whatever. You're crazy, you're old type of thing. And the more I look at it now, it's like, it's like your brain is so powerful and you really can do pretty much anything that you set your mind to. And just being in a good mood. We didn't really talk about the cold plunge thing, but
I'm into.
Yeah, I do cold plunge every morning,
that.
And I just got a new one. And there's a lot of health benefits to doing cold plunges, but I think for me the biggest thing about it is just the mindset. It's like doing something that sucks that bad every single morning. It's like you can't be in a bad mood the rest of the day. It's like you've already put yourself through this craziness in the morning, sitting in 45-degree water for 3 to 5 minutes. And so when I get out, it's just like I'm just in a good mood, and I just let myself be in a good mood the whole rest of the day.
Cold plunge.
Yeah.
You convinced me to try the cold plunge.
Yeah.
A little, maybe last summer it was. I did it, but I don't have a cold plunge thing dedicated.
Yeah,
so
you did it in your tub.
I have a tub.
Yeah.
The only problem is that I have to fill it up every day.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't know how much water it is, but it did kill my well pump, so we'll give you that. By the way, you owe me $2,500 for the repairs. But anyway, I guess it was worth it. No, I don't do it now, but it is hard to do, and I didn't have ice water or cold.
Yeah, yours was probably
water.
55 or so
like
coming out of the well.
Whatever the ground temperature is. So, even that is not easy. So,
Yeah.
But you still do it and you like it and you think it's worth it.
I do it every single day. As much as it's at least 5 days a week on average for the past year I've done it.
And you made your own out of a deep freeze.
I did a video on that, but that one actually just took a
digger.
Trip to the dump.
It took a trip to the dump. Yeah. It didn't get cold anymore. I used to be able to plug it in and it actually get cold. Yeah, no. So I couldn't do ice. So I actually hooked up with Polar Dive. I did a integrated ad for them on the YouTube channel, and they sent me the Polar Dive Max with a chiller. And it's out on my front porch, on my back porch. And every morning I get up and I sit in the hot tub for like 6 or 8 minutes. I listen to some music and I just kind of get my mind set. And then I sit in the cold plunge for like 3 to 5 minutes. And then that's my day. That's how I start my day every single morning.
Dang.
Yeah, just kind of get you going in the right direction, I guess.
And no vegetables.
I do AG1 now. So every morning I do a little bit of amino acids and some creatine, and I put a half a scoop of AG1 in some water.
Yeah.
And that's what I drink every morning to help get my
That's
greens.
good. You're a pretty good inspiration for being fit.
I try to be.
You look fit. You are fit.
I think I am. I'm 50. I'll be 52 this year.
Yeah. You lift some weights up in the upstairs at the shop or the gym.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
We'll do
That's
the
all I
pull-up
need.
challenge before you leave.
No, I don't do pull-ups. And you know what? And the reason why, and as crazy as it seems, like I look at Bob, and again, I love Bob, but Bob didn't take care of himself, and so now he's in his 70s, and he struggles every day just kind of getting around and doing just normal everyday routines. And so I think, as far as working out, if you want to at the beach, take your shirt off, you're like, I look pretty good walking around. But it's just the health benefits of it, of just being able to keep up with my kids and keep up with work and keep up with doing the things I love to do. And so that's one of the main reasons why I try to stay healthy.
Well, there you go. There's another
great
wisdom nugget you're throwing out there. Look at that.
I got them all, folks.
Right.
I got them all.
That's right. And this is maybe a little cheesy, corny, but I saw some stuff on Facebook or something where it was a guy challenging people to live for their families, not just be willing to die for their families, as far as like being the man of the house or whatever. Like do stuff for yourself to benefit your condition to where you can actually, be there for your family and live for your family. So
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm feeling off of that.
I just saw that. It was like guys are always like, I die for my family. Well, okay, well, how about living for your family?
Yeah.
You know, being there to do things with them and take them places and hang out with them. So that's a big thing. I try to be, family's big for us, trying to do things. My kids, they're kids. Of course, you want to strangle them at times, but, we're big into family and living with my in-laws,
Yeah.
We've gotten away from it now because Nana doesn't cook as much, but we went years with sitting down at the dinner table, the 7 of us. Or is there 7? No, 6 of us. So like we added one.
It was.
The 6 of
For a
us
time.
for a time where we sat down at the dinner table and we'd pray and eat together as a family. For years we did that, and I don't think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's important.
Well, and one thing we didn't bring up too, you guys fostered for a little bit too, right?
And I was trying to figure out how I can get that in there. But
well,
we did.
I thought, as busy as you all are, and it was like, and then like you show up at, I think it was at the bakery or something, and you were like, yeah, we're fostering these 2 girls. And I was like, what?
Yeah, it started down in Florida at our church down there. They every month or every couple months, they always have like Foster Aware Month, and they talk about how you can foster. And we heard it down in Florida, and we talked about it, and then and we came up here and we heard it again, and then we started a new church in Franklin, and like it was like one of the first times we went there, and they brought it up again, and we're like, all right, we get it, we got it, we understand. So we went in through the foster program, and it was tough. Like it was during COVID, and we had like I think 4 different. I forget the names of the people that come to your house to train you or whatever, but it took us like a year to get certified. Like it was not easy. Like we really could have just been like, okay, we don't want to do this, but we kept doing it. And so we got certified, and we had a couple, weekend people or weekend kids that would just come and then they left. And then they called us one day. We had 2 girls, and they asked us if we could do a weekend placement. It was just going to be like a 3-day placement. And we had Bree and Eve for 13 months.
Yeah.
And it was tough. But again, it was another thing with our kids. And at the time, our kids they kind of resented us a little bit because they were younger, and obviously the girls took a lot away from Stephanie for sure, more Stephanie than me. But, the kids were, at first not great fans of it, but looking back now, they realize, that that's what we're here to do. We're here to take people that can't take care of themselves. So, we did that for 13 months, and now the girls are going to get adopted by a woman who's phenomenal.
Awesome.
So, it was cool. And I think about another thing of my wisdom. I talked about I've been to Haiti like 5 times, doing some mission work over there. And my mom, again, bless her heart, but she was always like, you're not going to change the world, or people are like, you're not change the world. You know what? You're not going to change the world, but you could change one person's world or 2 people's world. Mm-hmm. And if you could do that, then hey, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, doing what you can.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's very admirable.
Yeah.
Great thing. I don't know. I asked myself, would I do that? I mean, the whole fostering thing.
It's a sacrifice for sure.
Would you do that? Would I do that?
Yeah. But looking back now like I said, it was hard, but looking back now and seeing where these girls are at compared to when they came to us, and it's pretty awesome to see it.
It's good.
And we just saw them the other day. We went and visited them, and we hadn't seen them for a couple weeks, and they come running up and they grab you and so we'll be a part of their lives, I'm sure, forever.
Yeah.
So. And
just to think of maybe where they would be if they wouldn't have been, placed with you.
Yeah.
Know? So
exactly 100%. So if you can do it, go do it.
All right,
it's pretty
cool,
awesome.
Man. Well, hey, I appreciate you being in here with us.
Yeah.
I know you're got a lot of work to do on your 4 seasons room.
Yeah, all of them, even winter.
I'm not sure which season you're working on now in it, but
so when's it going to be finished? When's the party?
I don't know. It's right. I got quite a bit to do. The deck's going to be the biggest thing. The 4 seasons room's pretty much probably 70% done, but I'm actually redoing all of my front deck and railing, which is going to be big. That's when you might have to come in.
That is a big job.
Yeah, you're going to have to come.
I didn't really realize you were doing all that too.
Yeah.
Good luck. All right,
thanks, buddy.
We're going to call it here, man. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Hope it was good.
So much being part of the crew and everything else, and for being a good friend and all that.
Yeah.
And, love having you. So I'll let you get to work.
Okay.
And we're going to get on to something else here. So thanks for joining us on the podcast, and encourage you to be curious. And if you don't know, just ask.
Wow. I like that.